I've been blessed, and I think this is an opportunity right now. I'm at an age that it ain't like I can be doing this forever, and it ain't that I'm going to be winning a belt anytime soon, because that's not going to happen. But I know I can compete at this level here and compete well.
What drives you to join into the MMA world and to compete? Like, what was your motivation behind this?
My motivation was that I watched this sport for a long time. I absolutely love it. I think these guys are some of the most physical, toughest athletes in the world, and I always consider myself as being a very good athlete. And even though I may have gotten up there in age, but I still compete. I still train a lot of guys that play in the leagues today, and I beat them at a lot of things. So I consider myself a very tough athlete right now. I don't know how long I will be there, so I said if I can get this done right now, I want to do it now. Next year, who knows? But I know right now I can get it done.
How do you feel the NFL or like your peers are going to react to this? Positively, negatively?
Most of the guys in the league that know me, they're excited about it because they know what I can do, and they know the type of athlete I am. I think some of the other guys that really don't understand me probably think I'm a little bit crazy, but a lot of people think I'm crazy. But those are the people that never really been around me that much to know what I do, and I think that's the thing there is that most guys that don't know me probably say Herschel's a little crazy, but that's the way my life is. I've always competed. I've always done things that people always told me not to do.
Right on. Where do you see yourself in this sport going? Like, if you're going to take one step at a time, or?
Oh, that's exactly right. That's what Javier and I always talk about, taking it one step at a time. And like I said, I don't see myself winning a belt anytime soon, because that's not the reason I'm here. The reason I'm here is to be a competitor at this sport, to compete very well. And that's the reason I'm starting out with Greg right now. Greg has been doing it for almost 2 years. He's like 1-1. Because I'm green. I'm not going to say and I've never said I was an MMA fighter yet. Not until I get in the ring and get it done. I'm not going to insult the guys at my gym, aka they're fighters because they've been in the ring fighting. I haven't done that yet. My first fight is January 30th. After January 30th, that's when I become an MMA fighter. And and I'm gonna step into the ring and I'll be ready to go.
One last question: How do you feel you're going to handle the ground game? It's a sport.
It's a very tough sport, and the ground game very tough. I think I'm gonna do very well. I think people are going to be totally impressed. I think a lot of I think a lot of people are going to be very impressed with my ground game. I think people are going to be impressed with my MMA ability. Because this is not something I've taken lightly. It's something I've been training at, something that I've loved for a long time. So I think they're going to be totally impressed come January 30th.
What was the first MMA fight you ever saw?
Oh, the first MMA fight I ever saw. Oh, geez, let me go back. I think Horace Gracie when he fought. I think he won the Gracie fight years ago.
One of the early UFC.
Yeah, I think he won the early UFC fights. Yeah.
What did you think of it when you saw it?
I love it. I absolutely love the sport. I love this competition, and this is something that I thrive on. Yeah.
Awesome.
Swallow your pride a little bit.
Yeah.
Have there been instances of that in the gym when he said, hey, you look horrible at times?
Oh yeah, it is. When I first came to the gym, it was very funny because you walk into the gym and you have a guy, jiu-jitsu black belt, 160-pound guy putting you on an arm bar like right away, and you're like, holy crap! So then that like you said, this is a tough sport, and and that's what I say. You swallow your pride. Going into the gym with all the fighters and knowing the things that I had to do to learn to get to where I'm at, whereas now I made my name there in the gym. That's one thing that I have with me is two of my training guys. And I said I wanted them to be the determination of whether I can do this sport, because they're fighters. They've been in the ring for a couple of years. Now I want them to be the determination whether I can get this done.
This is a combat sport. It's a very complex combat.
It's like a chess game, human chess game.
It would have been a lot easier. And you're a competitor, but it could have been a lot easier to just box.
Yeah.
Why did you choose MMA as opposed to boxing?
Because it's that combat. I think it's the human gladiator sport today. But one thing about it is, I want to get people to know that it's not this terrible, terrible sport that these guys are these brutes. These guys are very intelligent. They're fighters. Like I said, it's a human chess game, and they're very bright guys. And I want to be a part of it. Like I say, I'm at this age now. Not like I got a lot of years left to do it. That if I can do it right now, I want to have my name along with some of those guys. That knowing a gladiator. I've done everything that I've done in sports, not just in football, but in other sports. That MMA is another world that I want to get in and have my name in it.
When did you actually start the process?
Oh, geez. I've been in martial arts for years. But I said becoming an MMA fighter, I probably started the process over 2 years ago, where I started doing a little bit of training, not as serious as I've been training the last couple of weeks, but I started doing a little bit of training then, being a little bit more knowledgeable of the sport, probably about 2 years ago. And then about a little over a year ago, when I did a matchmaker bout. It may not have been that long. I did a matchmaker bout for Scott Coker, just to show him that I could do it. And when he saw that I could do it, I think they were totally impressed that I knew a lot about the sport. And that's when Scott said, he'll give me a shot if I'm willing to spend the time at a gym training. And I said, there's no doubt. I didn't come into this sport just to try to step into the ring to prove something. I came into it because I love it. I came into it because I want to show people that this is a great sport. That this is a sport. I think it should be an Olympic sport, because you don't see too many sports that are going to combine so many different sports together. You got judo, you got wrestling, you got boxing, you got jiu-jitsu, karate, and I tell you, that's absolutely incredible. Now I tell you what, and one thing, I got my two training partner, Luke and Bob, who've been fighters for a long time, and that's one thing I told people is I brought them with me to train while I'm doing this tour, but also for people to talk to them, because I said they are my measuring stick. They're my deciding factor whether I do this fight or not. And they're the reason. If they say, Herschel, you can't do it, or this Herschel, you got a long ways to go, I wouldn't do this. Come up January 3rd, I wouldn't do it, because I know I wouldn't be prepared.
Can you give me their full names?
Luke Rockhall, right there, and Bob, I think Bob. Oh, geez, I think Bob been fighting for a while. And Luke is up and coming. Luke is like 6-1. And Luke can fight. Luke been working there. Yeah, Luke can fight. And Luke is like a pretty boy. I told him I think Luke is more of like a movie star guy than he is a fighter. But I tell you, the guy can really, really fight. And stuff. And Bob has been working a lot with my boxing. And then that's what a lot of people don't know either. I used to box years ago. I boxed a little bit, so I know a little bit about boxing. And people, when guys were going out to clubs, I was either working out or in a gym learning something. So this is not something that I take lightly.
Herschel, Joe Riggs is fighting Jay Haran,
yes,
and they're put on the undercard. And this is your first debut fight, yes, and we were on the main card. How do you think MMA fans are going to react to that? I mean, especially Jay Haran, somebody that I believe deserves a title shot.
Yes.
Especially in Strikeforce. How do you think MMA fans react to that?
I think if they're smart, they'll react very well. The reason why is you want to bring this sport more into the mainstream. And not saying that I'm a fighter that deserves to be on the main card, but I'm a fighter right now that I can sort of help to boost this sport a little bit more. Because right now this sport is better than what a lot of people are giving it credit for. It is moving up, but I think it should be in the mainstream. I think people think this is a brutal sport because of the blood, but I think this sport is a little safer than football and boxing right now. I think the blood make it look like it's a brutal sport, but it's really not. So I love to see it in the mainstream. I think Strikeforce is doing very, very well on CBS to try to get people to watch it a little more. I love to see people that watch it a little more so they can see that it's not not what it used to be. And I'm not going to say anything about the UFC because I think Strikeforce has done well, but the UFC has done very well to bring it in the mainstream as well.
So you're saying like your name is going to be the ones that bring the ESPNs, the Fox and Friends?
Well, I think it's going to make people become aware. I think people are going to start watching it just to see what I'm going to do, and that's the reason why, in a positive way, and that's the reason why I got to do it the right way. That's the reason why I got to be a fighter. I can't be the Jose Canseco or what was the guy that got the other guy that got knocked out real quickly. I got to be a true MMA fighter. I can't go into the ring as a gimmick. as a circus. This has to be a legit, has to be something very fair. And Javier Mendez said the same thing. When I went to the gym there, I wanted them to treat me just like a fighter. Make me do whatever the fighter had to do. And then at the end of the day, say whether I can do it or not.
Well, I can't disagree with you because there's a lot of people that I talk to that still consider human cockfighting. And if you can help change their minds for me, I would highly appreciate it.
Yes, man, you're very welcome.
Thank you again, Herschel, for your time. Marcus Mara with MMA Weekly, with Herschel Walker here at Gallagher Steakhouse, and thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.